Yeah, and I'm back. So it's good to see all of you. Amazing people.
Good to see you, man.
Yeah.
I think someone from Rwanda, someone from Nigeria. That's Idiomi and the Claudine. John is from here, Nairobi, Kenya.
Yeah. Yeah, feel free. This is a community. Yeah. Hi, John.
Good stuff. Yeah. So I hope my connection will survive. Yeah. So thanks, Michael. Thanks, Graham, for organizing this. I think I wanted to join. The other one was, I think it was yesterday. Would join? Yeah. So looking forward to you guys sharing the best practices for doing USSD production, especially how to handle scale. So a lot of requests coming in, and also the other thing. Yeah. So the schema. So how do I store those sessions in the TP? Because I think we've been doing it a certain way. I don't feel like it's right. So it would be good to get you guys input on that, since you're the experts in it.
Does it slow? Does your way of doing it now slow the solution?
A lot, especially when you're hitting massive numbers. It degrades very fast.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are you using the USSD for, if you don't mind?
Electricity cells.
Nice. Okay.
Some feedback, John. Anyone else wanna unmute? So in case you're having challenge switching on your camera or audio, just switch on and then refresh your browser, and then it'll give you an option to join again. So don't worry if you're kicked out. It's just, I think, a technical requirement to ensure that it's allowed on the browser. So I'd like to hear from more people. Yeah, I can see guys on the chat. There's someone, a leader, joining us from Kigali. We have Zikani joining us from Malawi. This is awesome. You can see Tumi there from South Africa. Feel free to introduce yourself. We'd love to see you wherever you are.
Hi, Michael. Hi, everyone. Really excited for this session. Totally looking forward, and also hearing more, from John and the likes, to hear exactly what they're working on, how they're using USSD, how they're empowering their solutions using, different Africa's Talking's solutions. So yeah, quite excited. Thank you, guys.
Nice. Thank you, Tommy, of course. Later on, I'll share a form on the chat. So if you want to be added on our WhatsApp group or Telegram link, please fill out your details, and we're going to add you. So it's the beginning of you joining community properly and engaging going forward. So feel free to ask any question. And it's good to hear guys are excited that the community is here. So we're here for you to make sure that you get what you need. Also, to be successful in whatever you use Africa's Talking products for. Yeah, and contribute to the community. Yeah, even if you are interested in presenting how you hack some of your solution using our solution, we'll be more than interested to host you. So feel free to reach out. Yeah, Renette Opperman from South Africa, please introduce yourself. Someone? Yeah, John, please go ahead.
Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you.
All right. Hi, my name is Zikani from Malawi. So excited to be here as well. I've used Africa's Talking USSD solution. I think I used it when I was doing my project in final year in university. And from that, I came up with like a solution that I'm hoping to push more. That's on GitHub. It's called USSD proxy, which I hope can be used as a proxy between USSD and other applications for IoT. So hoping to learn more and see how I can use that. Thanks.
Ah, nice. You don't want us to see you today?
Not today. You can see my picture on my GitHub.
Sure. No worries. We understand sometimes it can be a little bit challenging for internet and battery events to switch on the camera because of bundles or otherwise. But if you can, this is a community. I encourage you to. Maybe we should have a giveaway for you if we see you. Yeah, Sakawa Bob from Nairobi, Kenya. Awesome. Welcome. Please unmute, speak to us, chat, whichever way that is possible for you. But if we see you, the better. And if you have any question, please ask. Feel free to drop it on the chat. We'll be starting in a bit. Hey, Fred.
Hi guys.
Hi.
Nice. It's nice to see you guys. The turnout is great. So I think I'll reserve my question for the last, but I just wanted to know like the difference between the normal Africa Stocking USSD and the one from Illyrian. Is it an abstraction of the previous one, or did you do a different implementation of the same?
Good question.
Okay.
Yeah. Salama. I saw Salama somewhere. You want to take that one? Or should we answer them at the last as we close? At the end of the... Okay. You dropped out. So, yeah. So, basically, there's no difference. So Illyrian is just a platform that actually gives you all those connections, regardless of which USSD, SMS, or voice airtime you're using. And then it gives you a capability to like have the one place to view your customer, and also to interact with your customer if need be. Therefore giving you the visibility, like a 360 visibility of your customer. I don't know if that makes sense, Frederick, but yeah. So there's no difference, in short.
Okay. No worries.
Anyone else? I can see Joel there, Renette from South Africa, Tevin, Brian from Roiro, Oyeleye, Thomas. Yeah, unmute, switch on your camera. Let's know each other. Daniel, Elaludini, Kalumba, Fred Mainga. Shout out to you guys. It's good to see you here. And it's good when you join early because you get the access of microphone and video. Yeah, so use it. Those who join later, they don't get this privilege. It's up to 50 people. Your VIPs. Yes, Kalumba.
Yes, hi everyone. Kalumba Geraldine from Uganda. I'm happy to be part of this session with Africa is Talking, and
Nice.
I'm looking forward to have an overview of the resources and see how they can help me and the team in the future on projects that we're working on. Thank you.
Wow. Okay. So you use Africa Stocking solutions?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's good.
Basically, and right now I'm using the USSD in my project that I'm trying to put up.
Ah, perfect. That's good. That's good. Good to have you, man. Yeah. Where are the ladies at? Yeah. I saw Sarah somewhere. So Sarah, if you're still around, say hi to the tribe. And or any lady who is here, just give a shout out and tell us if you're using Africa Stocking, which solution, what are you looking like to learn today, where are you joining us from? Yeah, or if the music was good. Those who just joined, there was a good music before, you know, started chatting. Also, feel free to ask any question.
Yeah, I actually have a question. I'd like to hear more from people that are building, you know, using USSD. I'd like to, if they're willing to share, you know, what are they, what's their use case? How's this working out for them? How's the penetration in their different markets, especially around USSD?
Ah, perfect, perfect. Are they in L? Are they in renewable energy, communication, finance? Yeah, that's interesting. Anyone? It's a good question to me.
Good evening.
Good evening, Fred.
Yeah, I've also
there are two Freds here, Fred Oluoch and Fred Mainga. So Fred Mainga is the one who is speaking.
yeah. So I've built USSD products around insurance, but we were using Mobile X, not Africa Stocking. So I'd like to see if there's so much a difference with the two aggregators.
So you're using Mobile X as opposed to
to aggregate the USSD app, yeah.
So
Mobile X, and I also saw in the meeting description, it's like the same library is still the USSD-builder.
Nice. Anyone else? Thanks, Fred. That's good. Where are you joining us from, Fred?
From Nairobi, Kenya.
Nice. Kumbe uko hapa tu. That's Swahili, guys. Sorry.
Yeah, Nico.
Yeah, anyone else? Can see Claudine, Zikani, Zikawa. You wanna share? Are you building on USSD? Which industry? Any challenge or any curiosity? Still quite here. You guys are a little bit shy. Graham, where is that airtime? Where is the airtime?
Available, man. We just call. Boom, it hits your phone. Just do a call request, boom.
Are you giving for the silent partners or silent contributors?
No. You have to be active.
Yeah, speak to us, guys. Speak to us. You never know. Might be happy this evening.
Hello. Yeah, so Zizi here. I just wanted to say for the Africa Stocking USSD, I think one of the challenges we have in Malawi is availability on both networks that are here in Malawi. It's currently easier to get Airtel, but TNM seems to be a challenge here. So I wanted to understand maybe what are the plans around that, because it doesn't go well to have the USSD on just one service and then have a hassle to build on another.
Graham, you wanna go for that or to me?
Yeah, I mean, I can talk about it, but it'll be a bit noisy because I'm in, in the living room. So I hope you can hear me. So I think the issue with Malawi is that we had the need for a dedicated shortcode So if you're doing a shared shortcode, I think there's an issue. But if there's a dedicated shortcode, it can run on TNM. And maybe that's where we could work something for the developers, where maybe the USSD, we could create a service where it's a dedicated USSD, but I don't know how we can work it out. But that was the main issue. Main issue, I think, is that getting a shared shortcode on the TNM is not as easy as a dedicated shortcode. I think that's the feedback we had from the last conversation from Paul. But since you're the second developer who has spoken about it, allow us to email you back tomorrow, because we can discuss more. Thursdays we have our internal hackathon, so we'll have a hackathon tomorrow, and then we can email you like to end of tomorrow or Friday on an update.
Yes,
like something practical we can take.
Yeah, just to support what you're saying, this is from the telco side. So TNM isn't as friendly as, the other network. So they haven't really been opening they haven't really made shared code available as easily. And even getting a dedicated code really requires a lot, because you'd have to then, sign up with the regulator to get a dedicated code, which takes much longer. It could take up to 3 months. So that's why we have it on, at least the one network that's able to assist us with shared, while we're trying to push talks and see how quickly it can be rolled out on TNM as well.
Do you have visibility on how much it costs?
For Malawi, just give me a second.
Like
I will
dedicated.
a dedicated one. Just give me a second. Let me quickly check, please.
Yeah, as Tumi checks that up, I would like to introduce our MVVIP, Mr. Anthony Limo, my colleague, Devrel. So Limo, take it over. I think we were waiting for you. Should we cheer him up or something? Yeah, you can unmute and like,
yeah. Yeah, what's up, guys? Hope everyone's doing good. Apologies for the delays. Yeah, had a bit of a hectic evening, but I hope everyone's well. I'm happy to see all the people who are on the call, and also quite excited to share with you some of the cool things that that have been happening at AT, especially in the AT community. Just to give a quick highlight, I'll also share my screen so that you're able to see what I'm talking about. I'm not sure what's happening. Microphone, camera. I'm struggling to share my screen, so I'm trying to figure out where I can change that. MK, maybe a little help with that. I'm not sure why I
Well, sorry about that. While Limo's joining back, I can just quickly share the rates for Malawi, and which is actually also available on our website. So for you to get a dedicated USSD code, you need to register with the regulator. That's MACRA. It's currently free, but then to actually set up the code, it would cost about 350,000 kwacha. But then there's also additional costs for monthly maintenance fee, which goes to the telcos. This costs around just over 200,000 for Airtel and 139,000 for TNM.
Malawian kwacha.
Yes.
That's per month.
For maintenance, yes, that's per month. So you
for
pay
dedicated
separately, yes, for dedicated. So dedicated is, a little bit more expensive compared to shared code. So yeah, while we're still talking to, with the telcos to set this up, if the need is urgent, you know, and rolling out the campaign is urgent, then a lot of customers would go for dedicated, but it comes at a very sizable fee.
So that's 139,000 Malawian kwacha per month for TNM dedicated.
Yes. 139,800 to be precise.
It's actually cheaper than Kenya though. Kenya is almost, you know how much Kenya is, 50,000.
The telcos are not playing, hey? They want their money.
So I don't know how, we'll discuss it tomorrow, but if there's an option of having standby codes, right? That we can discuss with the USSD team, like 2 standby codes that developers already, we have, what's his name? Sorry, I didn't get his name. Zikani, and we had Stanislaus last week or 2 weeks ago, or 3 weeks ago. If those kinds of developers can actually agree to quickly use that service, pay, then it goes back to like being available. Maybe that could help.
Yeah, we could look at like
there's a project the USSD team wanted to have where when the USSD is not when it's decommissioned from a user, it still can provide some basic services to anyone who dials.
Yes. I was about to say it's largely also based on volumes. Just, you know, how often can we keep the code running? Just so, you know, there's no revenue loss from both sides.
Exactly.
All right. I think Limo's back. Welcome back, Limo.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I've been having too many technical issues. Right. Yeah, if you wanted to steal my Spotify playlist, that was the moment. All right. So I think, yeah, I just wanted to try and create a new window that we can work with here. And one of the things I wanted to show you guys is this awesome library called a USSD-builder. This is primarily for Node engineers. And hopefully we can support these. It's an open source project. Hopefully we can support these guys and make more frameworks for all the different languages. Yeah, so essentially what this framework allows you to do, just give me a minute, is essentially create, all right, I'm not sure what happened here. Yeah, I'm not sure why it's kind of blank, but yeah, essentially this framework allows you to, yes, this is perfect. Yes, so this framework allows you to build USSDs, and you end up using the finite state machines, which essentially allows you to kind of move between screens a lot more easily versus if you've seen some of our original kind of articles, they're pretty simple. I mean, press 1, do this, press 2, do this. But normally you want to do a lot more with a USSD. You want to, you know, take all different kinds of data and kind of stitch it together and create this this experience for a customer or a user. Primarily, you find it being used by banks to do basic stuff like querying bank account balances and stuff like that. But it can also be very useful for stuff like registrations and data collection. So if you have a research project, instead of sending people forms, no one likes to fill forms. I hate forms, even at the bank. I'd even pay someone to fill a form for me at this point. Forms are very annoying. Yeah, so what we're going to do today, I want someone on the chat section to type in an interesting registration use case. My previous one, the one I actually used this over the weekend. I actually used this kind of principle to invite my friends over for a lunch. So what would you like to invite someone over for? I'll give it like a minute as I set up my VS Code, and I'll take the most recent suggestion. and then we'll just go ahead and build it. Ah, amazing, LAN party. I like that one. Okay, LAN party seems to be getting a lot of hits. That's good. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna create a LAN party USSD invite. Right. I'll also post this on GitHub, so you'll also be able to access the code and kind of see what it's all about. So just doing some basic setup, just ensuring I have everything I need. Amazing. So also blow up the. Hopefully it's visible. If it's visible, just type on the chat section if you can see my screen. Awesome, great. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to create a models folder. So in this scenario, we're going to be using MongoDB as our backend, just so we can able to store this data. We'll discuss what the future ramifications of the project could look like, because building a USSD isn't enough. Normally, you need to build a dashboard as well to visualize the data you're collecting. So that would be beyond and above and beyond the scope of this, unless you want us to hang out here for 3 hours and kind of build out a whole thing. So I need to rename this. This is model.js. And then I'm going to create an index.js file. Right. The next thing I'm going to do, I'll pull up the terminal, and I'm going to bring in a couple of libraries. So since we're starting a server, obviously we're going to need Express. We're going to need the USSD-builder library itself. And then I'm going to bring in .env, obviously for environmental variables. And finally, I'm going to bring in Signal. I normally bring it in just because I like my logs looking good. I don't like looking at ugly, white logs the whole time. Yeah, so as that is installing, shouldn't take too long. Yes, and we are done. Let me just install Africa Stalking, just in because we're probably gonna use it towards the end for SMS. And the cool thing about this is if you're in Kenya, we can also test this out on a live USSD, and you can play around with it and see how it works. Yeah, so as that is kind of doing its thing, we're gonna start. So we don't need the terminal for now. So hopefully I can type as fast as I'm talking. And essentially, this is just the base app that we need. It's just to have a server listening. I should leave out the. Ever since I learned you don't need to have the, what's it called? I'm forgetting the names of symbols now. This is ridiculous.
Semicolon.
Yes. Yeah, since I discovered you couldn't do that, I always try to try it. You don't need to do that. I kind of try and not have them on my code. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to listen on port 3000 and just log out a basic message, right? So for now, we'll use console.log, but we'll replace this shortly. App is running 3000. Awesome. So this is just a basic setup. The server should run. It doesn't have any routes. So let's create the one we're gonna be using for the USSD. So we'll give it a /USSD. We'll accept a request, a response, and we are also going to. So there's a unique way that that these guys kind of do it. Let me just blow this up. So you can also check out their sample code. It's pretty simple and nifty and actually works. So the goal here is to, let's copy this code. So it's called menu.run. I think I should leave this blank for now since I haven't introduced the framework itself. This is from Python, so let's leave a null there. All right, so now we're going to start the actual work of figuring out a couple of things. So the first thing that we need to do is that we need to ensure that our database connects. And then I'd do it somewhere here. Let me actually, I'd do it there. And then right below this is where I would now do the USSD setup. Right. So yeah, so let's so if we are having a LAN party, yes, we can actually access. You can access the recordings of the sessions. We can share it. MK can share it. We can post it on YouTube. Whichever way that works, MK will help figure that out. Yeah. So the next thing we're gonna be doing, we know we need Mongoose. I didn't install Mongoose, so I'm gonna set up a new terminal. Right, and then we're gonna call in Mongoose. And for the database connection, the first thing we're gonna need is a Mongo string. So the Mongo string is essentially the URL that talks to the DB, right? And in this case, it's process.env.database URI. And in that case, we are also going to create a .env. I'm going to use another project to pull in some of the information I need. Just give me a moment. Yes. So I'll call it the URI. Amazing. So the next thing we are probably gonna do is try and create our model and just see what exactly we would want to store. So if you guys are coming for a LAN party, I'm guessing I just need to know their name. What else would be I'd also want to know, like, are they coming with their own machine or do they expect to play on my machine, which is ridiculous. But I'd have to try and accommodate them. And let's not make it too long as well so that we don't end up also staying here the whole night. So we have Mongoose here. And the next thing we are probably gonna do is just create our data schema. So we're gonna create data schema, new Mongoose schema. I'm gonna say name. It will be required. Or to make it a little bit less cumbersome, I'm going to use tickets. So the tickets tell me how many people you're bringing. I think that's a better thing to remember than anything else. You might only have 2 bags of what's it called, of crisps, banner, and 30 people are at your party. All right, so that's pretty much it, right? Except the final thing we're gonna do is a module export, which will be callback Mongoose and model. We'll name this data and data schema, right? So if you've not created like a MongoDB instance, you can quickly jump into You can go to Mongo, create your account, and I'll show you the DB that I have already set up. I thought it would take a few minutes just setting up the instances. All right, as this is loading, we can continue just writing the code. So what I'm going to do next is right above this, actually. I want to bring in this model equals require model slash model, right? So now we have our model imported. The next thing we would want to do is now make the actual connection to MongoDB. So to do that, all we need to do is say mongoose dot connect and pass in the Mongo string, and then initialize our database connection, right? The next thing we need to do is just ensure that if the database is actually okay, we know. So I'll first try and capture the error, see if anything goes wrong on that side. So console.error, and I'll pass in the error itself. And then database.once connected. We're going to console.log database connected, right? And maybe to make it nice, put a smiley face, right? That looks pretty nice, right? So far, database is connected, and our server is up and running. And I think the next most important thing is actually getting into the meat of the situation. Or even before we do that, I guess, we can just test it out and see if everything works as it should. So it seems I'm creating quite a few shells. Oh, okay. Something's up. It's a mongoose error. So either I've defined this in the wrong way. Just give me a moment. I probably have another app running. Hopefully not. I don't think so. Okay. Right, we'll figure this one out. Don't worry about. Oh, this is so ridiculous. Good thing about programming is every 1 hour you probably feel pretty dumb. So config, yeah, that's just all we needed to we need to add. Okay, let's first kill all of these random ones, and I'm also going to move this to my right, and make it as small as I can. So if we do node index.js, app is running and database is connected. So now we know we are on the right track. We just need to actually build the USSD. So that was, hopefully that was one of the fastest setups you've seen from a blank slate. All right, so to use the USSD builder library, all you have to do is kind of create this this requirement, just pull in USSD-builder itself. And then right here where we are defining the USSD, we'll create a menu and say new USSD menu, right? And based on that, we can actually begin writing some very interesting code. So if you've worked with FSMs, it's essentially like when you design what's it called, a program flow, flow charts. Yes. So you're designing flowcharts, you kind of want your code to look exactly like that, right? Like you want to be able to move from one point to another, revert to this point if this is not achieved or something like that. So this library just essentially allows you to do this. So the first thing I do, I define a start state. I have to define where it starts. Once I have this, I have a couple of things I do. So you say what you actually want to run. So in this case, it would be a menu.con. So from the previous, like, sorry, kind of got this wrong. I don't know why I did this. It's an object. Yeah, so normally when you're kind of like writing a USSD menu, you have to kind of say con and end all the time, just to ensure that the AT knows whether to present the menu, or the telco knows whether to present the menu as with input or as a final menu, right, with no user input. So in this case, what I'll do is welcome to, who suggested the LAN party? Ian. Welcome to Ian's LAN party. And then we're going to do one sign in, and then two quits, right? And we're gonna work on this so that the quit message is not just a random message, but actually something pretty cool. Let me close this out since I don't think we need this for the time being. And then the other thing we need to define is next. So what next allows us to do is say, okay, which state should I go to next, right? So if someone presses 1, so this is user input. If the user presses 1, go to register, right? So in the register flow, we will now begin to collect data and other things. And then the next thing is quit, right? So we're going to have a quit state. So that's it. We've created our first state, the beginning state, and we're going to create another state called register. And and in this state, what we're going to do is we probably want to ask for the person's name. So what we're going to do is run menu, con, either what's your name, and once we've asked that, we can now define. So it's basically this the whole way up until you've kind of, so it's good to have a diagram to kind of work with so that you can always make sure you've covered all the bases. So after we do register.state, we'll move to another state. So how this framework works is that if you do a dot something, it's a child of this state. So you're taking it into the child of the state. So register.tickets. That's where we're going next. And something interesting here, for those of you who are fans of regex, so what you want, instead of putting actually an actual number, you can actually just put in some regex to like validate your data. So in this case, if it's a name, I just want an alpha, essentially just letters. I don't want anything to do with numbers, right? Your name shouldn't have numbers unless you're Elon Musk's kid, right? That kid is gonna have a very rough time in life. So let's just continue with this flow till we reach the end. Let me go up. So I'll do run. And then menu.con. And here we are going to ask for, so let me just copy this. I'll start memorizing code at this point. Yeah, so so one of the cool things we can do here is we can actually kind of like interpolate some interesting data here and say menu.val, which is the value that has come from the previous state, which is the name. How many tickets do you want? right? Now, because we want to save some of this data in a database, or what I'll do just before, just after this, I'll create like an in-memory store here. So data to save, and it's going to be an empty object. So what I'll be doing is that I'll be popping data into the object every once in a while, right? So actually, let me, instead of interpolating the data here just like this, I'll call this name, and then I'll say let name equal menu.file, and I'll also be able to save this to the data to save object. Right, so that's about it. The next thing that I want also to do is define the next phase. And the next phase is kind of like an end state, right? There's a quit state and an end state. That's interesting, right? So because we want this to be numbers, the regex for that is this. So I really tried to read about regex when I started programming, and then I realized I could just Google a cheat sheet and I just find it. I really hope the internet never goes down. That's my prayer. And Ukraine also survives whatever they're going through. Anyway, let's go. So because this is a final state, we are going to be receiving a couple of things at this stage. So we're going to have a tickets variable here. So Manu, menu.val, right? And then I'm gonna save it again to the objects, and I'll call it tickets, and then I'll do a menu. Oh Jesus, menu.end, right? And I'll say thank you for registering. Thank you for registering. Sending your confirmation shortly. Right? Which is a nice thing to tell someone. And then the last state we are going to create here is the quit states. And in the quit states, what we are going to do is something pretty basic. There's nothing else, nowhere else it's going. So what we're going to do here is menu.end, and I'll be pretty grim about this. Glad you're missing out. And essentially, we actually do have a USSD working now, right? And what we'll need to do here in the so this is now where on your route you're going to define you're going to say menu.run. Just give me a moment to confirm. Yes, okay. So rec.body. So we're gonna take the requests. And then we are also going to get a USSD result. So this will be the user's input, essentially, and res.send USSD results. And hopefully this should work, right? I'm hoping that it doesn't crash on me at some point. But let's test it out. Let's actually get something up and running and see if we are doing the right thing. So, and feel free to unmute if you feel like. Yes. We'll share the source code on GitHub. Actually, a version of this is already live. I'll share it with you in just a bit. So the first thing I'm going to do is just run this so that we can ensure we are connected. Looking good, looking safe. The next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to create a new terminal. And I'm going to go to where I put my, what's it called? Where I put my NGROC, which is in downloads. But not the best thing in the world, but it works. So right now we're running on port 3000. So yeah, we now have let me try and all right. So now we have this link, and this is where Africa Stocking comes in now, the first part for Africa Stocking. So let me take a HTTPS link because we need to be secure out here. And then I'm going to open my browser, go to accounts.africastocking.com. I'll also blow this up just a little bit more, just in case we got people who don't have good eyesight, like myself. Then we'll head to service codes. And I already have a service code here, but I can create one. For those who haven't done this before, yeah, just come up with a number that you think works. I think that's fine. And paste in my callback URL and create channel. So it's not available. So I'll try 6. Or it is good enough to tell me what I could put here. Okay, good. The channel, please. And yeah, and we essentially have the callback. However, my USSD is on the USSD route. So that's something I have to kind of keep track of. All right. Next thing, we launch the simulator. So, right, that should be okay. Awesome. So a shout out to the engineering team for making the simulator look this good. Previously, it looked like an IDEOS. Now it looks like a S20 something, man. We're getting better. Yeah. So what I'm going to do, I'll come here. I'm also wasting a bit of time to allow the backend to register my callback. Okay. Let's see. It actually works. Probably it will fail, right? Oh, twins. So welcome to Ian's LAN party, right? I want to register, man. Yeah, what's your name? My name is Anthony, man. So Ian, I'm coming to your party. And I want 23 tickets because I'm coming with me and everyone else who will beat you at COD. All right. So thank you for registering and sending a confirmation. We are sending a confirmation shortly. So that's the flow of the USSD. And if we go back to the code, so actually we are not logging a lot of things. We're not logging how things are kind of moving. So the next thing we are going to do is add Africa Stocking and also make our logs pretty. So we're going to log out some information so that you can also see the flow of how things are happening. Also, hopefully my database is alive. Yes, great. So you can browse collections. Amazing. Yeah, so you can, I don't know if you can see this, but yes, so you can see here, the object is created, 23 tickets, and Anthony, right? So that's pretty cool. So we can see all that is working. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna kill the app for just a second, and send it back to the right. I'm telling you, I suffer from these. I wonder how people figured out how left and right work. It's still a mystery to me. All right. So there's a place we didn't call in signal. So let's make our logs pretty. So const log equals these require signal. And then we're also going to add Africa Stocking. Now, there are certain things you want to log very, very nicely. So if in case there's an error, we want to ensure that the error is logged well and looks pretty. If you can hear my cat agrees with that story. Log.info, amazing. Yeah, so what I'm gonna do right about just above the, I'll add here USSD and SMS setup. So I'll import Africa Stocking up here, just for standard practice. So we'll do const credentials, API key, and username. And we're going to say const equals talking is equal to require the talking itself and the credentials that we need, right? So we've already, it is essentially kind of sorted. So we're going to be using Sandbox, obviously. And then I'm going to switch to my dashboard. Always remember, API key yako siri yako. It's your API key is your secret, so keep it safe. In a production environment, you lose your API key, things may go very south very quickly. So a better way to do this, since we have a .m file, is just actually to just create not good best practice to keep your code, keep your stuff just out there. So username sandbox, API key, right? So here, instead of this, API key. Right. So that's looking clean. And then what we're going to do, just here on the SMS setup, we're going to say const SMS is equal to africastalking.sms. That's simple. Pretty dead simple. Then we'll come to the end state, because this is where we're actually gonna need to send a message. Right. Oh, guys, I think I may have missed out on something. We didn't save the data actually to Mongo, so I kind of skipped over that. But we will have this sorted in just a second. So since the end state, we could do this with a function or something like that. But just to save on time, how I would typically do this is I'd create a data variable. So we're using the model that we imported from the database file, and then we are going to say name, data to save, .name, and then tickets, data to save, .tickets, right? So that's the data we want to save, and then the data will be saved. We want to know when the data is saved, what to do. So I'll also add an async up here, async await, data.save, right? And that's pretty much it. So this just allows us to save our data. So right. The next thing is SMS. So typically, you could pass this directly into the SMS object you just created here. But what we will do is just use an object to kind of capture all this data and then just pass it into SMS, right? So the SMS function method, rather, the SMS method. Yeah. So this is how you pull up the phone number using the USSD-builder framework. So you just do menu.args.phone number. So this is typically just sent to you by AT anyway. You don't have to do some magic to get it. And then what we're gonna say is hi, and then data to save, .name. Thanks for registering. You ordered, data to save .tickets. tickets. Yeah, right. I think that makes sense. Yeah, right. I don't want to bring this down because it ends up opening a whole new thing. But anyway, yeah. So that's the message you want to send to our person, and then we're also gonna await for this, and we're gonna pass in the options. That's it. And now we should have a fully working app. So let's try again and see what potentially happens. If things break, it's not my fault. So the server is still up. Database connected. Amazing. All right. Hopefully we will not see any errors. Let's come back here and we'll dial our USSD now. All right. And we'll say sign in. Duma. Any tickets? I want 4 tickets. Something broke, which is good. So SMS.send. Everything was fine except that. All right. Backup. This is the good thing about Ngrok. You don't have to like redeploy. Just get your app back up and running, and we can try again. My name is Juma. No, Juma Ian, good friend of mine. He's probably coming with 3 people. Right? Amazing. And now when we go here and come to our messages, here it is. Hi, Juma Ian. Thanks for registering. You ordered 3 tickets. And then, yeah, this last part is just default text we have to send you because some people don't like receiving messages. Do not disturb is what they call it on the telco side. So yeah, I'll share this code as well from today. If you have any questions, I'll be taking questions on this side.
Can we see that data on Mongo?
Sorry? Oh, the data on Mongo? Oh yeah, great. Yeah, for sure. Let's reload it. Or am I looking at the wrong Mongo service? Maybe I am. Give me a moment. I might need to log out. Maybe I'm probably using another one. Oh, okay, finally. Amazing. Oh, what's happening here? So it probably was that account. And probably the data was at the bottom, not at the top. But anyway, yeah, let me figure that out. But happy to answer questions. Zikani, yeah, man, like we're super happy to see developers build out awesome tools. So I can see here, this is a testing framework. This is amazing, a testing framework for USSDs. These are the kind of things we're super happy to support and drive in the community. Your work should not go unrecognized. So yeah, looking forward to testing it out and playing around with it and seeing how it works. This is awesome because USSD for us is one of those interfaces that is largely ignored but is really powerful, especially if you just want to do something really simple. I don't need to install an app to register someone. That's a bit of overkill. A USSD is simple, easy to manage, and especially I think the new costs for USSDs are pretty fair, especially if you're not using it for anything too commercial, like data collection and stuff like that. So yeah, take advantage of it while it's still here. And yeah, Zikani, man, yeah, big up. The next session is actually, you should come and tell us about, like, should do a session with you and talk about how to use your testing tool. I'm really interested. Yeah. Daniel, yeah, that's amazing, man. Yeah, we do need this framework in a lot more languages. We do need to kind of show people that you see, the same way for Android. Before, when Android kind of started out, you were using really rudimentary tools, hardcore Java. The apps are really bad, and that's just because the frameworks around Android were not there. But if we now have proper USSD frameworks that provide the safety, ease of build, all these different things, testing services, all these different things become available, you can see some incredible USSDs. USSDs are, if you think about it, a USSD is a bridge between offline and the online world, because your code lives on the cloud, but it can easily be accessed offline. So it's a really, really interesting space to kind of work in. And a lot of businesses right now are trying to find out how to get their stuff on. So they do have apps, but they still want a USSD at the end of the day. So there is also that massive opportunity around that area. All right. Yeah, so that's it from me. It's just very interesting to try and build this out live. But I'm happy that you guys got to see a few things that are quite interesting. At least for me, I hope you guys found a lot of useful vibes from this. Yeah. MK, over to you, man.
So much, Limo. That was amazing. So if there are no more, I think we are 30 minutes past the hour, so we can end it here. But definitely we'll share all these resources with you so that you can go and check step by step. But it's amazing to see even developers like Zikani raise interest. So we'll be more than glad to host you in one of our sessions. Even chat around like how have you used some of these tools, the implementation, and I think Tumi earlier on asked which industry are we using some of these solutions and what is the impact, like how does it look like? But definitely, yep. Unless there is anyone who wanna unmute and give feedback, feel free. We have like 2 minutes and then we end it there.
You can check out the source code for this project. I'm just sharing the link on the chat in just a moment. So you can see a version of this code on my GitHub repo. You can use it, play around with it, make money with it. It's open source. This is for you to enjoy.
I think one question that had been raised earlier: how easy is this to be deployed in like prod, especially for managing the state?
Oh, it's actually it's quite awesome actually. So I've actually deployed this already on Heroku as a container. So typically for me, I try to use containers just because they're easily reusable. I don't have to worry about them. If it runs, it runs. But I've tested it out in production and it's fine. Yeah, I haven't had issues with state. Yeah, hopefully that is.
So in this situation, you would deploy a Mongo container and then the USD container.
Yes. So yeah, so you would either do that or just use a remote MongoDB connection as well. Yeah. As
like the way here it is just a URL that it will
exactly.
be
I just use a URL. Yeah.
There was a guy who was asking. I don't know where he is.
Frederick, we don't, and we are requesting the community to help us get more of them out there. It would really be useful, even for voice, because the great thing about both USSD and voice is essentially the same thing. So Eric, you're asking if you get stuck. So you have multiple options. You can join the AT community, the AT Slack. You can reach out to us there. You can also you can just raise an issue on the GitHub repo and just comment your issue, and I'm happy to kind of help.
In addition to that, I'm also creating a WhatsApp group. I understand sometimes you want to like ping someone quickly, but definitely, as Limo pointed out, directly the GitHub and Slack might be easy even to post like a solution, or even to like show you where the error is. But just for WhatsApp is to like quick catch up and ensure that at least you're not alone. And in case of any other topic that is going on, you can also always share with you. So yeah, if you filled the form, you'll be joining Slack shortly. Sorry, WhatsApp.
So for the question, the last question here, what is the standard timeout for it? It depends on the telco and the country. Some telcos in Kenya it's 180 seconds. In some countries it's like 20 seconds. So you better be filling that USSD with true conviction. Yeah. So it's just country based. So depending on the country, you may have to design different types of flows for different kinds of timeouts. So if it's like a really short period of time, you may have to think about the kind of data you really require to collect at that moment. So maybe try and make the flow as short as possible and not very complicated. But if it's like the Kenyan one, you can be filling in data there for 3 straight minutes. That's a whole song. You could listen to a Taylor Swift song as you're filling the data.
That's a good analogy, Limo.
I know Tumi likes it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Perfect example.
Yeah. We don't mind spending more minutes and answering your questions, but yeah, we have to end it at some point. Feel free to ask maybe last question.
Yeah, there was actually a question. Somebody was asking what the difference. Yes, it was John. John was asking what's the difference between Illyrian and Africa's talking. So I don't know if Limo, Michael, you want to touch on that?
Limo, you want to go or should I? So let me go, and in case Limo, you want to come in, feel free. So Limo actually anticipated that question earlier on today. So Africa's Talking gives you communication solution where you can build different solution through our APIs. And with these, actually, you end up having users or end users of your solution. But now Illyrian comes in to like give you the visibility of each of those users. Every time Limo actually was mentioning FSMs here, I could feel like, should we have a session around Illyrian? But definitely we have communities around Illyrian. If you check our dashboard where you register as a member, you'll see all these solutions. So when the time is right, we'll venture into this in detail. So for now, I might not go into details, but just to give you an answer in a nutshell, that the difference is that Illyrian gives you capability of viewing each customer at a time, and also getting that visibility of how they're using a solution. And besides that, understanding if the solution works or not, among many other features that you can get from Illyrian.
Yeah, it's just think of Illyrian more as a data product and not really a USSD building product. It provides the functionality just to make it easy for you to do everything on one platform, but really the core of Illyrian is data, kind of like data intelligence. So you can better understand your users, their behavior, and make decisions on the fly about it. Versus currently, like what we've done right just now, I'd have to collect all this data on my MongoDB and then run analysis later to figure out behavior, right? Which is typically not ideal. I probably need to start learning a bit of data science to kind of like figure that out. And I don't know how many people, it's often quite difficult to become an expert at data cleaning and all these different things. So Ilarian does that for you essentially automatically.
I hope that makes sense. I think there's a more of a question or observation from Michael Kamau. Want to address that, Limo?
Yeah. So when you're implementing a commercial project, I think there are a couple of things, but I think Graham can also talk about this because he has a few USSDs running in prod. So one of the things you really need to kind of take care of is really know, like, have a kind of like an idea of how many people are going to be using the USSD, how many customers could possibly use it. This allows you to think, do I need a basic deployment, or do I need a bit of orchestration? So I need maybe like 3, 4, 5, 6 instances that would kind of be receiving these USSDs. You probably need a load balancer as well, so that one server doesn't keep on crashing. And also security is so important. So just ensure like a lot of your credentials are safe, probably using are they called token managers, essentially, to protect yourself online. And that's kind of it. I'd say add testing, but it's here, not there. Some people just don't do it. So really the goal is try to ensure that the USSD doesn't crash. I think that's really the key. Gramo, maybe you can add a bit more context to that.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. So USSD crashes on several reasons. One, if you're calling on a third-party API that doesn't return on time, that process, your USSD will crash. Another process we noticed is if you deploy your USSD in like a service that is very it's very light on the core of the server. So for example, we are deploying our service on Cloud Run. You deploy your service on Cloud Run and you don't, which is like serverless, and you don't tune it properly, it means whenever any session is going on and the user crashes, the entire container crashes, deleting people. So it's very crazy. But what's important is, one, as Limo mentioned, this thing, if you're going commercial, ideally you probably want to be on cloud, probably on Kubernetes, because it depends on the number of users. But if your users are going to be many, say like 6,000, 10,000, you may have issues with only 1 or 2 servers. So then another critical thing is state management. So like Limo has shown you, I definitely want to be running your state management, in pushing it to cloud, caching it for each session. And that's because if you're running a cloud environment, the traffic will come to different ports. So if the traffic comes, it doesn't necessarily go to the same port again. So if the traffic is coming and it's going to different ports, then you need to be pulling the session when the traffic hits the pod, which means you definitely want to be storing that session. So when the traffic comes in, you already call the session based on the session ID that the Africa Stocking will be giving you, which is unique for an entire session. And then now refreshing all the data and sending it to the user with a populated menu. So the idea here should be, if you are doing a database, you have to make sure it's very, very fast, and then you'll be good. So I think those are the considerations to look at. So if you're talking to any external service, internal, like for example, if the user is calling your service and then your service is calling another service, then that's a very dangerous place for session timeouts. And that's the only challenge I've seen. If your service is calling, if the user is calling your service, which has everything intact, then I think you have an easier time, as long as you take care of your database. The call to the database should be as fast as possible. Yeah. That's it. That's it.
Awesome, Graham. Thank you so much for giving that context. Yeah, so this is where we end it. And just to thank you for joining us and staying even after the hour, which means a lot to us. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned. Until next time, keep building, keep engaging. And in case of any question, don't be shy. We are here for you. Goodbye, good night, good evening.
Bye-bye, guys.
Bye.
All right, cheers.
Bye. Bye.
Ela não ficou liga, nem ela não ficou liga,